At the end of almost every Ninjago season, the villain goes down in some way. Some get redeemed, some go to jail, some even get killed. In this collaboration video, I'm teaming up with Crusty783 as we take a look at the top 5 best villain defeats. Hey guys, welcome back for my collaboration with Crusty783. We've been wanting to do this collaboration for a very long time, so we're excited to have finally finished it and to show it to you guys. So without further ado, let's begin. But first, we have a quick honorable mention to make. I really like how the people who Narukon controlled for so long play a pivotal role in his downfall. And I really love the justice of Flintlock being the one who shoots Narukon. I also love how right after he's shot, he witnesses his world literally collapse in front of him. I think it's very powerful that Narukon's arrogance and the way he treated his crew, it all catches up to him in the end.
In at our number 5 spot, we have a choice that I'm certain a lot of you in the comments will vehemently disagree with me on. So, hear me out on this. In this spot, we have the defeat of General Vex from Ninjago Season 11's Ice Chapter. So, General Vex's defeat is awesome for a whole number of reasons, and we need to basically just look back at the entire season's themes to understand why this is. So, before we explain why Vex's defeat is so good, I'll give you the Season 11 English class level analysis crash course. Patent pending. So, the Ice Chapter of Season 11 very much hinges on the themes of trust and revenge, which I know most of you are practically ready to jump out of your seat and run for the hills after hearing the word revenge in relation to Season 11, but stay with me. In this season, General Vex basically plays the role of being a dark mirror to what Lloyd could become. Near the end of the Fire chapter, we find out that Lloyd's greatest fear is becoming like his father as of the Oni trilogy. But in order to understand why this is important, we need to define what that means, and I think March the Oni does that very well. Garmadon is pretty much completely detached from stuff like human relationships, friendships, and all that stuff, focusing entirely on the idea of survival on the bare minimum. By bare minimum, I basically mean stuff like food, not being killed by Oni, and stuff like that. It neglects other important things like connections to other humans and yada yada yada. The one time Emperor Garmadon did try to reach out, it completely blew up in his face and ended up with his adopted child dying horribly. Flash forward to Season 11, and now Lloyd is basically undergoing the exact same patterns without even realizing it. Because of his experiences being betrayed by Harumi, Lloyd is completely untrusting of anyone, pretty much pushing anyone away that isn't like the ninja or anyone he already knows. And this is why I say Vex is a dark mirror of what Lloyd could become. Even when his people, the Formlings, say that they still appreciate and love him despite not being able to get his animal form, Vex doesn't care, think they're lying, and pretty much just tries to go out on his own, thinking he was banished. The guy is so untrusting that he pretty much deluded himself into thinking the Formlings betrayed him, and that is why he wants revenge. Right, crash course over. I'm so sorry for dragging out the length of this video. Anyways, Vex's defeat is great because pretty much everything he does over the course of this season is a direct response to this kind of fear. He's lashing out against it. And because of all that, he pretty much creates his own worst nightmare. By the end of the season, he is actually banished to the things that he does, and the Formlings do actually hate him now. Basically, in his paranoid fear response to thinking the Formlings hated him, and everyone hated him for that matter, he basically turned his worst nightmare into reality, so the season fittingly ends with him being actually banished. Vex's defeat, especially at the hands of the Ice Emperor, someone Lloyd had to risk a lot to place his trust into, also is an effective rejection of that dark reality for Lloyd. And the absolute cherry on top of all of this is that Zane stopping Vex's last-ditch attempt to kill Lloyd by freezing him is just so wonderfully ironic. Vex's defeat is not only a fantastic way to cement the themes of Season 11 and Lloyd's character development, it's also a great way to send off his character.
Pythor takes the number 4 position on this list. Pythor is the first of several villains in the show who are taken out by the evil that they worked to unleash. What especially strikes me in Season 1 is that Pythor is revealed to be this coward and just totally small in comparison to the powers he plays with. He's so powerless that he won't even stick around to see what he's done. And that makes it all the more hilarious that Wu forces him to. I think what elevates this defeat above Moro's and Kalmar's is that it gives Pythor some really nice development in his final moments. And not in a redemption type way like Moro's. It cements that Pythor is a cowardly character who has absolutely zero idea what he's done. I love Pythor's screams and generally his horror at what he's done. And I feel like this is a great way for him to go out, even if it wasn't the end for his character. Emperor Garmadon's fall from power in Season 9 is really complex, and I love how it plays out over the course of several episodes. After Harumi is killed, Garmadon becomes enraged and bitter, and we see him start destroying the city. I really love Garmadon's descent into insanity, and by the time we reach the finale, it's just him. His advisors are gone, Harumi's gone, all that's left for him at this point is the fight. And that comes to an end too, when Lloyd refuses to fight him. It's really cool how Garmadon's power is slowly stripped away from him, step by step, until he's just a powerless man being led away in handcuffs. Iron Baron takes the runner-up spot with probably the most brutal death in Ninjago. Not confirmed, but unless he was freed, Baron probably suffocated or starved to death by now. From the very first episode, Baron was one of the most powerful people in the first realm, but that wasn't enough for him, and he wanted more. The Iron Baron's downfall is entirely self-inflicted, and is such a fitting conclusion for him. I also love the element of surprise here. Neither Baron nor the viewers expect what comes next. Wu uses Baron's greatest skill against him, and I feel like having the dragon armor be powerless was a very creative and really cool idea. A lot of people believe the Iron Baron is a boring and bland villain, but his motives, simple as they may be, are genuinely fascinating, and this was the perfect conclusion to his relentless quest for power.
In at the number 1 spot on this list, we have the death of Harumi in Season 9, Hunted. Death. She died, guys. I'm not going to discuss the Crystalized thing until we know what's going on with that, but Harumi's death in Hunted is seriously excellent, and one of, if not Ninjago's best scene. I think the common thread with all of the villains in this list is that their downfall is very ironic. Usually the thing they had going for them is ultimately the thing that causes them to go in the end. Harumi is absolutely no exception. Let me explain why. So, the singular event that drove pretty much everything Harumi did in her life is the death of her parents at the hands of the Great Devourer. This is the event that made her realize the ninja aren't fit to protect Ninjago, and was the event that made her do all the things she did to try and fill that role for the ninja. However, throughout the seasons, she gets very drunk on the ideas of power and revenge, particularly against Lloyd. This leads her to the Hunted death scene, where she finally realizes that after all of the stuff she's done, she's only created more people like Harumi, which she sees in that kid at the elevator. She does what she can to save the kid, but I'm almost certain that she's realized there's thousands of more people just like that kid who she can do nothing for. She then tries to escape the building herself, only to realize that escape is completely impossible and that she's doomed. Her final moments are spent watching in horror as the building she's standing on is slowly downed, with the only reason things having even gotten to this point was because an angry, vengeful individual decided to release giant evils they thought they could control. In Harumi's last moments, whether she realizes it or not, she has effectively become Pythor, with the Stone Colossus being the equivalent of the Devourer. I think you know what I'm getting at this point. She realizes on the building that her mistakes are pretty much unredeemable now, and all she can do is die. A really tragic ending for the character.
Thank you all so much for watching this collaboration. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, subscribe, share with anyone Devon you know, and please go ahead and subscribe to Crusty783. He is an incredible content creator in person, and his channel link is in the description below. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.